to stand apart, to be united as one. Thus three is a crowd. Am I disturbing your peace? Before we begin actually anything at all into MrTacpans or any of which you want to call what you're watching right now, I don't know what you say. Hun, what are you doing? I'm online. He said, you're not watching MrTacpans again. What is it, a bad thing to watch me? Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong? Something so superior to all men, women? Is that when you can see a difference between me and you, you know there's something there. There's something, depending on what you're actually looking for, and mostly I'm looking for is always asking that question. Why doesn't this appeal to me? Should I be listening to this crap? Am I writing my book? Well, you know what, like I told you before, for those of you who don't know, I never had enough money to write a book. I was just gathering a whole lot of information since 2005, and beyond that, it's and bits in my other life. And it came upon a time where I said to myself, how am I going to do this? I says, okay, take all your notes and rewrite them and type them. So I did that, and I wrote about, I don't know, let's say 100 in each one, 600 pages I wrote. I came up with a new language, Bo Ti Lo San Chi I Ta, which is actually saying 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm not even sure if I had a 10 in there. And it's lost somewhere in my paper, so I can't tell you which is 1. Bo Ti Lo San, I think, is 0, 1, 2, or it's 1, 2, 3. Where did I come up with the names? Just like that one day, I was looking at the hockey rink, and it was boring, so I looked at the numbers and said, who said 1, 2, 3? Who said un, deux, trois? Who said achach shalom? They're all different. So this one's different too. It comes from a native country, the country called the Waylands. A Wayland away. You know what that's all about, the Waylands? The Wayland country? Within one's mind, okay, you are a hail within. You stand on guard for who is thee, and thee is me. Can we put a chapter on the book right now, just trying to figure out and find things of the common sense? And why, when we spend our money, it makes no sense, and we spend our money to the last dollar, to the last penny, in which they call the cents. Now, depending on how you feel it, right, it could be the cents in that way. If you just said I sent, you could have sent your email. If I had too many, and too many, and too much for you too, then I would have all these twos. Why is the reason in English for two? Do they do it in Hebrew? Do they do it in Greek? It doesn't really matter, because my equation, this is what it is my equation, the way I work things out with my definitions here in Canada, being a Quebecer, from what I know, this is what God gave me. This is my patternizer. We're going to almost work over the same thing, but we might get a tweak in the actuality, because you might be, let's say, 600 years or 800 years in front of that creation. You may have created it first, and automatically when you go create that one, it creates me. So if I say I create you, so I'll show up at the beginning. If you show him, I'll show up at the end. I'm an automatic entry, right? Baby comes into this world, and he enters into the contest. The air we breathe. He's now going to breathe our air. That's no fair. Who brought him into the world? Breathe my air. Oh my God, where's the air? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where's the air? Oh my God, don't stop the air from coming, my friends. It may turn us shallow and gray, but there'll be a day. It doesn't matter the shallow and the gray. If you know right now anything that I am discussing, I will try to make it more clear so I can understand myself. I'm going to go on to freedom. What is freedom? Freedom only goes to a certain edge. It's like a balloon. okay? Blow up a balloon and blow up a balloon, but at one point you must stop, because if you don't stop, you'll be pushing your air, okay, into somebody else's business. And the other person's business happens to be the balloon, and it can't take all that air, because otherwise it's going to bust. And you're not being nice to the balloon if you blow it up and you bust it. You're not sharing space fairly. You've used up all its extremity force with no movement to sway. If somebody does something to you one day you don't like it, you can't let it eat up inside you and then hate all these people. You have to learn why they do it. You have to learn why you don't like it. We have to learn about ourselves. You're here, you want to make money, you can't handle life. You got all the money in the world, but you can't handle life. You just can't handle it. You got everything, but you can't handle it. Wherever you go, everything seems to bother you, but you got thousands. You're making 10 grand a week, and you can't handle it. Because, listen, man, they didn't make this world for just you. They made it for you and me. That's why they wrote the song, For You and Me. I take, you take, you take, I take. If I take too much, we make a complaint. We have to find out a good way to make a complaint. So not everybody says, oh, he's a big complainer. But yes, sometimes we need the extra complainer just watching these things. They do it for free. Complaints for free. We do it all day long. Nothing's good enough for us. Everybody's doing it the wrong way. Now we have to correct the plaintiff. Right now this guy is complaining because you can't see they're all doing it the wrong way unless you judge it upon the judgments that we live upon this earth. The Creator, for whatever it is, somewhere deep down, back in time in history, there's a lot of people say there are these things called the 10 Commandments. Now, whether they exist or they don't exist, I'm going to make them exist for now. But they're going to be my 10 Commandments, okay? First of all, I wish I could remember the 10 Commandments of Moses, but the first thing is you got to give somebody else his own space, okay? Another thing we have to understand, I'm going to go back and forth on the commandments. Just want to write this down so I don't forget. Commandments. So we don't want to take up anybody else's space, right? Now we're sitting there and we're a bunch of people and the families start to grow and the cities start to grow and they say it's not fair. She should go down the road here and he should go down the road here and we're all fighting. So before anything begins, we have to have a rule about it so we understand, so we don't fight. And we'll say this is how it works. When people are born into this world, this is what has to happen. And then you have to say, well, you know, it's not fair. They have 13 people in their family and everybody else is 4. And if everybody keeps having 13, should we have a law not to have 13? Absolutely not. Okay? But in this world that we're in, the correctional the correctional center of know-it-all, learn-it-all, love and fight of war, okay? In this world, we have to learn on our own. It's not good to have 12 kids. You just have to know common sense. It's like an addiction. You're overdoing it, okay? And then again, learn to spread your seeds, okay? And help thy family with the extension of life. And what that means is the children will grow up and they'll farm your land and feed your parents like they fed you, and then you'll feed your grandparents. They'll die off. The fathers will be grandfathers, the kids will be fathers, and new kids will be born. And then all we have is one big house or a couple of houses around there, 20, 30, 40 people. But what happens when this family keeps having 6 children and 6 children after 300 years? They got to be 2,000, 3,000 children. So automatically they're taking up a block. So there's a block of people in this world, like thousands and millions that are stuck to the same family tree, you know. I mean, that's the only way. You have to be. You have to be stuck to the family tree. Once the 10th child had the 6th child from the family, that's 60. Each of them have grandchildren times 4. That's 300 right there. You only went about 100 or 200 years in this. Oh my God, it's crazy. So let me see here. So what were we talking about? Yeah, the commandments. Should we tell the people? No, you can't tell the people just have to do it. But wait a second, now we need roads and housing and hospitals, and how is this going to work? How did the people make the extension? There's not enough farmland. We have enough farmland to be able to feed all the people, but not all the people can have jobs. So what do? This has got to be in-house, my friends. This is like you saying to your whole street, okay, our street, we're exchanging vegetables and clothing, and every single day of the year, there's no money. You don't need no money, because you have to live, you have to know what you need, and only live to get those things. And that's what your life should be all about. That's how it goes. Then you have your complete liberty. You're doing it on your own. But now when you have towns and you have fire departments, we need money to pay for all of these things. And there's businesses opening. Those businesses should be taxed, and the money should go right, like almost right back into the community to pay roads and other things regardless, because no company should ever take that much money out of the pockets of the people. Even if they did most of the work, they can never deserve it all. They were lucky they had more. They have to give more money back. Just like the NHL or in baseball, when you pay a team $600 million and you're $200 million over the budget, you got to pay a $15 million fee down to whatever the commission of whatever league it is. And it should be done with the businesses also. You can't make trillions of dollars. You just can't. You just can't. You just can't. And then if you want to say to me, who are you? Oh, don't worry, my friend. I never saw billions of dollars. I just saw millions of dollars, okay? Not only did I see millions, I drove around with millions of dollars of products of other people's. I drove around with other people's merchandise for years, okay? Live animals, dead animals. Oh, my God. I've seen them kill them. I've seen, whatever it is, we still have our own choice, but we still have to understand what are the commandments. Well, first of all, if you cheat on your wife, you're going to cheat on anybody else. You cheat, you broke the law. Why is it a law if you cheat? Well, put it this way. If we were all magnets, okay, and we were all turned one direction and we stuck together, and you decided to turn around the other way, the only thing that happens to you is you fall right down to the bottom, because you're no longer facing the right way to be connected to the rest. You have fallen out of love. You have only cheated yourself. That's how it works. But we're lucky in this world, because we're all full of bubbles. We keep bouncing back up again. Not only that, because of our strong minds and our strong will to know there's something further on in the future. We always say, how can he sit and do nothing? How can he sit and do nothing? Some people can actually sit and do nothing because they have a vision of the future, and they know when that part of the vision comes, they're going to pounce at it. Well, you know what? Sometimes sitting too long, right, the future may never just come. That's the problem with that story. I don't know. I saw somebody show me a little picture, so I just drew this little thing. Exclamation point, man. Here's all the chevrons, okay? And here's his tie. See the X here? The Illuminati, the X-Man. He's got us trapped in his tie. Chai. And when the people die in the Jewish, they cut the tie over here. Cut tie, right? Why don't you just put the word together? Hey, cutie. The first 18 in roulette, because this can also be put on the roulette board, is 1 to 18. We're not using 0. 1 as a single digit. 8 and 1 is 9. Here we have 1 and 9. Okay, right over here, 1 and 9 equals 10. On the bottom last 18, 1 and 9 is 10. I don't know why I wrote 20, but it should be 10. Okay. Hold on a second. Let me correct that so when I show it to you, you don't go firmish. I always get that mixed up. Every time I see 19, I always think 20, because it actually is 20. Okay. And the reason why 19 is 20 is because in blackjack, right, the minute you have an ace with any card, okay, if you have a 2, you have 13. You have an ace 3, you have 14. So also in most of my stuff, I don't think I really ever showed much of that. But that's the way it works. Once you have an ace in your hand with any other number, it climbs all the way up until it's 21. It never stops until it hits 21. Because the ace spirit is within everything. The ace spirit inside the 2 makes the 3 card. The ace spirit inside the 4 card makes the 5 card. Okay. There is no ace spirit in 6. There is no ace spirit in 7. There is a center connect, but there is no ace spirit in the center. The spirit color is usually red, just like in roulette, and that's right. In roulette, 19 red is the only red that's in the entire board that come up with its number 1 is red to the number 9 is red. It's the only one on the board that does that. So anyways, it comes out to 10 and 1 is 11. And this one comes out to 9 and 1 is 10. 10 and 11, 21. That's what this little game comes out to. I have another thing on the other side, the on-off switch. Have you ever seen that on the cards? Like a Band-Aid, almost like the stitch of the football, the pig skin. Why do they call it pig skin? Everybody, I'm going to tell you this, no one knows this. Pig skin is actually 2 dots, the 2 dots of the dice. This is the pig, okay? If you get 2 of these dots, they call it the pig. The skin is us. We are those 2 dots. We are the pig skins. Our skin and we are the pigs. Do I have to explain it to you more? It's also can be used as an on-off switch. Off meaning 27, meaning it's not on in one world, it's off from the spirit world, and on 29, birth in the secondary world, which was yesterday, the 92nd day. 2 and 7 is 9. 9 and 2 is 11. 1 and 1 is 2. It says 2-9. When you put these together, it comes up with this number again, because it's the God in this world. When it reproduces itself, it's telling you they're both within this realm, in this world, whichever way you want to look at it. Another thing I was looking up right now, I looked at the new $50 bill, and it says Bank of Canada, all in capital letters, but then when it said the rest of the money, it said it in small letters. So where's, and another thing is, why do we have a Bank of Montreal in the USA? Why do we, I mean, take me stupid, but why do we need a bank? A bank isn't a bank. A bank is a place, okay, in a market. There's 1,000 cowboys that live in your town, and they all got something they need to exchange. So they come to you, they exchange it, you make the exchange, you take a little bit of money, okay, and you sell it back to everybody else. You're not allowed to make more than a certain amount purposely, because we can't have you, how do we say it? You can't make money off the people, off people's money, because then we have to make the money increase. How do you want to say that? The money, it's like an interest. I mean, if there's no interest, I mean, there's nothing lost in lost time. But when there's interest, interest is constant. And man is not constantly working. He's sleeping and doing other things. He's going to church. Yes, he's constantly charged for every minute of the day that he's awake, and he's got to pay that bill. Like, you see all these banks making $100 billion here in Canada in the last 10 years. This shouldn't be allowed at all. Like 70% banks should never go bankrupt. Something has to change in this society. I told you I came up with a few things, right? But everybody has to understand together. But if we keep going into debt and never being happy that we're never making it anywhere because we can't get any credit, then we have to calculate how much money do the banks actually need to take the chance on somebody with a new credit. Something like that. Take the chance on some more people instead of pocketing the billions of dollars. Take a chance to lose some money on some people who actually are going to make it in this world if you give them that one chance. Just give the money to the people. Lower the student cost. They're the ones who are bringing up our future. Let the banks continue to move that. You see, that's where the government should be coming in and taking that money away from the banks and pumping it into education. They shouldn't be making money on our money and then investing it elsewhere and taking a chance to lose our money. Where else did they get money from? When you open up a business, you don't have a dime in the cash, but you got a lot of inventory. You exchange the inventory for cash. You put the cash in the bank. You lose that cash, you ain't got shit. What is the reality? What are the commandments? You see, if everybody had everything, we'd probably still steal just for the hell of it. But making marijuana legal, what they're doing in part of Europe, I mean, it's working. It's working. Don't listen to these people and stop it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. There's no such thing as a liberal Democrat and all this bull crap and bullshit. Get that out of your head. That's old school, my friends. That is old school, old school. Look at each individual. You are an individual. You tell everybody else, no, 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 he's not my friend. He's not my friend. Then you want to be an individual, right? Look at everybody up there as an individual. There's no, when a man speaks, let me tell you something. When a man speaks, this is the way it works. Hello, hello, how are you? I'm fine. I still owe you $50? Okay, I'll pay you back tomorrow afternoon. That's bullshit. Do you know the way it should go? Yes, I know I owe you $50. Now listen, okay? I know exactly the earliest I can make it for you, but I take no chances. I know the date I probably most will have it, like almost certain, but I'll take no chances. I'll pay you the week after that. Now, any time in between, if you get it, be happy, and when you get it then. Now, if I miss then, I better have a goddamn good excuse to not pay you, because it's about time you get paid. You put your hand in your pocket. It was to a friend you gave it, but it was an actual loan because you wanted it back again. It was yours to begin with. I borrowed it and I gave it back because you didn't need it during that time. What does money do during the time that nobody's getting any money and they got tons and tons to lend out, but they just don't want to give it because they got these things called the credit bureau, and they always want to know where you're spending, what you're doing, where you are. They give you a number up, they give you a number down, you're high, you're low, get your credit score, and I'm trying to figure out, hey man, get my credit score. Does that mean I get to go back and do another college degree and get my credit score? Yeah, man, what's that going to get me, my college degree, for a credit score? Holy crap, I understand, sure. Wow, credit score. Wow, you know what? I'm going to go back in time to the early 2000 BC. I'm going to ask those people if they ever had a credit score. Wow, that's pretty cute, man. Credit score. What the? Yeah. Credit score. Would you like a credit card? Yes. Do I get credit on it? You sure do. So I loaded up all the way to the end and I finished with it. I cut it up and threw it out. And 3 months later, mister, you owe me all this money. Oh, when you gave me the card, you gave me all the credit. I said, fine. And I ripped it up and threw it out. Never spoke to her again. 10 years later, they're calling me. Isn't that the way it works? It wasn't really explained. There were so many small letters on the other side that told me if I didn't this and I did this at 1.2%, they deduct 0.5%. If I transfer all my balance from one side to the other side, they play with money so much. And all this money is coming out of our pockets and we actually don't see it. My friends, if you do not see what's happening to you, I suggest this is why the reason poker came in the final chapter of our lives. Go sit and watch the poker game. They are collecting thousands and thousands in revenues and tips and a bad beat, and they are collecting this money, and hundreds of thousands of dollars are sitting in the bank across the world from casinos all over and gambling business and lotteries. It's just a rake. They just take that rake. It's $7 an hour, and they got 20 tables, and it's small money, but it's your money. And most of us that are really gambling, I mean, most of us are small-time gamblers because the rest of us are broke. We have no time. We got no money. And the other ones are underage. Something I just drew. This comes off the roulette table. Okay. What it is, if you've ever seen the brown stone from Roswell, well, if you look, this sort of looks like a broom inside here. It also looks like a weight. It also looks like the chalice. These two elements go around this element here. This one would be called 147, and this one over here would be called 369. This is the passage 258. And they turn around, and they turn around. And that's how we get our electric from one world inside the other world. Now, when you want to see the other 6 world, it's like this. It's this way. where you get the 1, 2, 3, and 7, 8, 9. Now, if you really take a look at it, okay, if you really take a look at it and I stand it again, this would become the letter H. You see the line? You see this X over here and the X here? Well, this actually, believe it or not, is the Magen David. It's part of the inside of the Magen David. That's all I did. That's your spider in the world. Where's the spider in the world? Hidden in the two strengths of the Magen David. How did, what was it, David that beat Goliath, or was it Samson that beat Goliath? What did David beat? What's going on with this story? Are there more riddles I haven't heard lately? You know, it's the answer to what's happening in the future is in one of those riddles. You do know that. You definitely do know that, right? The riddles and the rhymes, the comic books of time. I've seen it on the internet. People are already showing it like this. I've already spoken about it before. I never get any credit for anything. But that's, you know what, I don't mind saying that as long as I tell you now, I said it too. And I see it in a different fashion. I don't think there's very many on here that actually can see what I see. But I know there's many on here that see more than I see. But that's okay. So that actuality at the same time would be placed in the roulette wheel. In the roulette wheel, this one would be 14. This one over here would be 23 red and 14 red. 14, 1 and 4 is 5. 2 and 3 red is 5. 1 and 4 and 2 and 3. In the middle is 17 and 20 in roulette. 37 black, or 14 and 23, 37 red. Incumbents. It's the black world, okay, that comes inside here. Okay, 8 and 2. Now, 8 and 2 are right over here. Why did I say 8 and 2? Because 17 is 7 and 1, 8. And 20 is 2 plus 0. So you go down here, the middle of it, right, would be 17 and 1.5 would be 18 and a half. And 20 minus 1.5 would be 18 and a half. The total value of that would be 185, or it can be 85 miles an hour in Texas and Montana. The 8 of Neptune, the 5 of Jupiter, and somehow Venus. I have this funny feeling that if we are the core, then we have to still be Jupiter. I mean, I just can't move away from Jupiter. But it's hard to go away from that big blue monster of a planet called Neptune. Or the tiny little peanut they call Venus, our mother. Mercury. Could have had a Mercury. You're going to have a Mercury. Don't you worry. When we all die, all those Hondas, they all go away. It's only going to be a Mercury. You do know Plymouth, Mercury, Lincoln are all the cars of Christ. And I think I had a design I made a little bit earlier to this. I know we're deep into the video. I'm going to show you just. Can you see this number 3? Take a good look at it. It's a 2. See the 2? Well, wait a second. Now it's a 5. Understand me? Look below. It's a 5. Now I pull it down here. It's a 2. And it's always just the number 3. Right? You ever see designs like this? Tools that are built like this? This is a number 2. If you take a look. It's a tool. It's a wrench. Here's a number 5. You can actually think it's a G. But you see it. You don't see it as a number 5 now, do you? It's a C, a big C. Here's what they call in Hebrew the tav. Here's the door. What it looks like, the tav looks like, is what they call a pillar bearing. So since we are the actual things that need to be baratized, or whatever you want to call it, they would use that letter. Another thing I want to tell you is I told you that man somehow has to be 20.5. That's what man has to be, because he can't be 26. 26 is or 36 exactly. He can't be the final number. He has to be one step before it, because the final number is your death. You know what I'm saying? That's the final number. But his life, he's 5. So 20 and a half, if I split it in two, you always have to split it down to tell another story. If you split it in two, it becomes 1025, which means Jack. Why does it mean Jack? Because the 10th letter in the alphabet is a J, and the word Jack, okay, has a 25 letter count, 1025. Not only that, 1025 is a very special number because when you create this number, you can create it in two ways. Number 10 is 5 plus 5 equals 10. And number 25, the latter part of it, is 5 times 5 equals 25, giving to you your 10 and a quarter. Okay? In 10 and a quarter, this number, okay, which is 1/2 of the Mediterranean-Baltic connection, okay, 10 and a quarter is 41.25 cents. 41 is the Mediterranean, okay. Not only that, but when you put your hand in your pocket in Canada and you pull out 1 quarter, 1 dime, 1 nickel, and 1 penny, one of each, you total 41 cents. Added on the back that the Queen Elizabeth is on the back and on our $20 bill, it says 2041 or 2014. Again, back into the year that's going to solidify a lot of things inside the man, inside the mind of man. The new space evolution of the mind, a conscience era where you're going to be lost when you're not thinking right. Instead of feeling, oh my God, I should have been at work, you're, oh my God, what does the baby need? That's the era that's coming in. The era is, oh my God, he sped. We'll get it on a petition. We got to regulate. We got to understand our laws. It's going to be pumping out the new world. We will be, okay, the handlebars of the new world order coming in, passing out pamphlets and talking to people, finding out what we should do for the laws. We already know what to do with the laws, but how should we talk to people? Do people want to learn what it really means deep inside all these things, that we work as a connected world instead of disconnected? It's not an easy life in any which way you go, but it's a lot more than losing all your freedoms and liberties, my friends. Okay, so anyways, after you cut that 1025 in half, you end up with 5125. Bingo, now you got the short count of the Mayan calendar, 5,125. And you know what's so funny about that? If you multiply the whole situation in 5125, it gives you the long count of 25,625. And not only that, the 625 that's in the long count, if you multiply that by the 41 of your chains, or the number of moves to get to the second time Mediterranean when you can actually land on it, is 25,625 of the Mayan calendar. Did I do any other things? One of the weights, this is like a weight. It could be done this way. 2 jacks. Take a look inside. This is a bird, but these are the 2 jacks. 1 eye and 1 eye. That's why the Jack of Spades is 1 eye and Jack of Hearts is 1 eye, because you're one of each. That's why you got the X in your eye that whoosh, spins everything back into your brain and back upstairs. Way up, way up, way, way, way up, way up. For those who may have missed it in one of my previous videos, see the number 52 in blue? Or the 2 letter C's? Or do you see here? This is to anchor a boat. You ever anchor a boat? You wrap it around here. But if you really take a good look at it, it can also be the I. But now you have the extended legs. So we turn it this way. Where? We turn it this way. And now it's an H. Okay? But if we close the 2 sides, it would turn into an 8. You can turn it into a B. It looks like 13. You see where the 13 comes in? I don't want to. 13. Oh boy. Can't figure it out. Oh yeah, like that. 13. You get it? You follow me? 13. Where else am I? Okay, let me see what I got here. If I got anything else. If I'm done. I did this. 1973. Everybody knows about 1973. 1973 are all the odd numbers in the corners of your telephone and calculator. So that's what it's all about. Let me see if I got anything else. Yeah, another part of this. This is the roulette board. Okay, you see the W here and the W here? The two sides of the boards are replicas, and the center of the board is this. These are connecting. There's the middle of the board is right here and here. The reason I color like this is because the two numbers next to each other are both the same color. So this one is two reds, and here's two reds, and there's a black. And what happens now, if this was an electrical circuit, you would flip the switch, folding these into each other and connecting the top with the bottom. Okay? When you die, one of these drops out and you're just living on the other side, right? See the W? It returns you all the way home. Then there's all these X's here. X, 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 X. 13 X's. And if you can see in here, there's a double Illuminati over here. Right in the top one. Missing a leg here, missing a leg here on this one, missing a leg here on this one. The only one that doesn't miss a leg is this one over here, unless I made some sort of error, which I'm not quite sure I see. But if you understand, that's two Illuminati signs. Okay. One is over there. Anyways, yes, so what these are is, this is 16 and 19, total 35. 3 and 5 is 8. This over here is 37. 3 and 7 is 1. 8, 1. This one over here is 18. And this one's 21, is 39, is 3. 8, 1, 3. 1 and 8 is 9, and 3 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3, stands for creation. This row over here stands for creation. It's marked right over here. The other part of it is to watch out for this. 85. It keeps telling me Mercury, Neptune, and Jupiter. I don't know why it keeps doing that all the time. Don't forget, in the deck of cards, okay, the ace, the 3, the 5, and the 9 all have a center image dot, all like the ace. It has a value. It is called the 7th gate. It has a value of 5, but the ace counts it as 1. So go figure, it's also known to be the 7th gate, in which the 9th birth comes within to that world. So you're almost like saying every single odd number belongs inside 5. And that's the reason I tell you that Jupiter, we have to be inside Jupiter, or Jupiter is the mind of all man. Okay? That's why we got all these moons working out there. I know I don't have the exact answer. Maybe one of us we do. This is something I just want to throw onto the table, that this is one of the ways I look at it. I definitely think that there's no way out of this game unless you transform in such a way, but the easiest way out is to die, because you wake up in another area. So I don't know how when you change from this kind of a person into a new kind of I can't even explain it. Just like you become the mist in the air, and then you can just come in and go out of the world like Jesus did. And if you don't think it works, I can almost prove it works. Attach the battery of your car to 2 parts in your hand and see what happens. If you feel a little electrifying, well, you know you've been traveling, or something's been traveling in you. It's basically something like that. I make it look easy, right? But it sounds impossible. Raphael 7286. Let me show you one more. Anybody like this one? It's all letter R's. This is the game. So if you ever see crop circles, look, 2 legs, 2 arms. I could have did the whole thing. 1 person on this corner, 1 person on this corner, 1 person on this corner, 1 person on this corner. Now, if I put another one of these outside of each of these 4 corners, then all it will continuously doing is making these exo lines and like video cassettes that will be connecting and connecting, that will turn into thousands of little diamonds And that's why diamonds is our world's best friend, or a woman's best friend. I see it's the world's best friend, is because diamonds is what brings us home. It's all about that communication, my friends. I'm not sure what I got done into this video other than we were talking about the Ten Commandments. You know what? You, by doing good, the reason why God wants you to say something to him once a week is so you don't forget him. That's all. He doesn't want you to forget him. He knows if you don't forget him, you should be doing good. It's that simple. Don't forget your father. Good night, Dad. Don't forget your father. Ma, don't forget your father. Fuck, Ma, I'm a big boy now. Don't forget your father. But we all only want our mothers. Why? Because the queen is on our 20, and 20 is the beta world. That's our life. She's number 62, and the game is 26. And she's on all our change, and I think it's a time we change. Take a change. Take a change on things. Time to change. Okay? The commandments just mean respect everybody else. We must learn how to get along, and sometimes we have no choice. That's what happens. And the more people there are, the more certain things are going to bother people. But in Irish guide stupidities of what bothers anybody at all, everybody has to say, okay, I understand, and learn. We must want. If you want the future to come for our children, you must need to learn and understand what it is to just accept whatever it was the other has done, said, before it of yourself. Be unto others as you wish to be unto yourself. Never mind for that. I say, be for good forever. You have no choice. Raphael 7286.